What's going on, Lord, over here at Planet Podcast and TMF Apparel? Before we get started, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out the links below. I do have a lot of shirts on there revolving around this topic. My son actually designed some for the support of Ukraine and, put your best foot forward and show humanity what you're made of. Outside of that, there's some other links down there about doing some Instacarting or stock trading or some other stuff to make some side cash. If you want to check those out as well, I'd appreciate it. We're gonna talk a little bit about Ukraine and the war, because Planet Podcast here, I kind of cover a lot of things, and we've done different series here, like the Free as Fuck show, where we talked about political and economical and current commentary and all that fun stuff. And we watching this war unfold in Ukraine with Russia, and I feel like this is just my personal opinion as to what we're watching happen, but I feel almost like America downplayed this entire situation to the utmost ability. And I don't appreciate the fact that the media, the mainstream media, took it upon themselves, and the White House and the press secretary, to downplay everything to us, right? They had to have known for months that this was a high possibility of happening. And it feels like within a matter of days, we went from, well, Russia's got some troops near Ukraine to there are cruise missiles hitting buildings in Ukraine. It happened very fast. I don't feel like in this day and age, war happens that fast. This has been an ongoing thing, and I feel almost like again, my personal opinion, take it for what it is, that the Biden administration took it upon themselves to sugarcoat this entire situation and downplay it. There's no I feel like there was just no communication with the country. And maybe that's their agenda. For four years, we had Trump, who tweeted everything. He talked shit. He tweeted Kim Jong-un, North Korea. He was just like, let me tell you, America, what I think of Kim Jong-un. And he sent it. And with Biden administration, maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do. But with the Biden administration, it feels like we don't need to know the fact that two countries are at war. It felt like we fought a war in Europe, in Afghanistan, forever. It just was never ending. And now there's a new war, and we're not going to be involved in it to an extent. Right now, Biden says we're not going to have troops actively go over there and defend Ukraine and fight Russia. I don't think that Biden wants to fight Putin at all. I don't think he wants American soldiers to fight against Russian soldiers. And Ukraine, there's one thing they're going to have is heart. They're going to have heart fighting Russia. Every able-bodied person over there is going to pick up a weapon and try to defend their country that they live in, because Russia is just marching right in, and they're probably going to lose. They're going to put up a hell of a fight, but I don't think they can win. It's just going to be how much damage can they do before they go enough is enough, or somebody else steps in. And unless NATO steps in, the U.S. isn't going to do anything. But I think the spotlight from the U.S. standpoint is like, what's going on over there? It's like when you see those memes where there's a building on fire and someone's just casually walking by, listening to their music, and no one cares. And we're watching it from a distance, like it's not affect us. It's not our problem. It feels to me like the Biden administration has said, without saying, like tell me you're avoiding the problem without telling me you're avoiding the problem. Like one of those TikToks. Like, look what's happening. It's not that serious. It is serious. It's very serious if you live in Ukraine. It's very serious if you live in Russia. And it's very serious to live in the surrounding areas. Because this does have worldwide implications attached to it, regardless of how it ends. Russia is a dominant world power. Ukraine is not. However, if Russia is allowed to stomp on this little guy next door, Who's to say he doesn't continue stomping on other little guys next door? And at what point do we actually have to go to war against Russia? I don't think there's any threat to the country. I don't think that Russia is going to come to the U.S. If you overlay them, Russia is huge. For those of you who suck at geography because you didn't pay attention to anything, and you feel like don't really know even where Russia is or Ukraine is. Russia is a very large country. It's not 100% populated throughout it. There's going to be populated dense areas, just like our country. And it does butt up against Alaska. And I saw and made a video about somebody who was talking about geography, saying that, oh, Russia is on the other side of the world. Well, it's not. It kind of is really close to Alaska. Yeah, but you know what also is really close to Alaska? No people. No one's living over there. No one's fighting a war in Alaska. And don't go and leave me a comment, talk about some oil pipeline. They don't give a shit about that oil pipeline. They do not care. They're not going to wage war against Alaska and then make their way down through Canada into the northern and western side of the U.S. where also no one's fighting them. They're not going to do that. And they're also not going to send nuclear weapons over to the heart of America. The sad reality, and I emphasize sad reality, is whatever happens over there does affect the world, but it's such a small section of it. Just zoom out. Look at all the other countries and all the other people and all the other places. Zoom out. It's not a big area to fight over. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to lose their lives over there fighting it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And that sucks. It sucks that there are so many people that are against what is happening and no one can do anything about it. Unless you're in Ukraine, you can't fight for them. And unless you're in Russia and want to stop it and lay down your arms, which they're not going to do, it's going to happen, right? You either cave and give Putin what he wants, or you go actively against him. And it feels to me like the United States current government is not going to go actively against Putin. They put out sanctions to stop him from having access to money. Bro, this dude is just going to print money. He doesn't give a shit. Doesn't care. I have a bank. I own a bank. I can just print money. I owe other people money. I have assets in other countries. He doesn't need them. Sanctioning his money, it's a small potatoes to stop in this war. And if you're not going to sanction the man himself who's in charge of it, then all you're saying is, I am terrified to do anything against this man. That's all it screams to me. Step up and go, look, at the end of the day, we have leaders in our country. Unfortunately, we have Joe Biden. And in the time of war, there's a time where you have a man who is aggressive, dominating, and terrifying person like Putin, who you know has no problem calling the shots, eliminating people himself. That dude has probably, I would not put it past him. This is not a fact. It's just an assessment of the person. Has probably killed more than enough people on his own, by his own hand, to be scared of him. And if you're going to say, well, Joe Biden's going to call him up and make any kind of empty-ass threat to that dude, why would he take him seriously? I don't think he will. That's how I feel about it. I said it's not a statement of fact. It's just an opinion. My opinion. For the whoever many people watch this. I feel like we need to not show a force, but we need a show of confidence. We need a person in charge who can give you the confidence that goes, when the shit hits the fan, this is the guy you want to stand up and go, can't do that. You cannot do that. And Joe Biden's not that guy. Who is that person in the current government? I don't think there is one. I honestly can't think of a single person currently in government who you could put up there that would call someone like Vladimir Putin and go, hey, you better not do that shit. And him go, I'm going to reconsider possibly not doing this. At this point, what are you going to have? You're going to have Joe Biden call him up and go, I was thinking about this war with Ukraine and how you were kind of wanting to go in there. And I was thinking maybe it'd be a better idea to, well, anyways. I've seen this man not end sentences more than he's ended sentences at this point. And it's embarrassing. So I feel bad for the people in Ukraine. I think about it every day. I wake up, I look at the news, I want to know what's happening over there. And I don't see it escalating to us, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't care. At some point, humanity just has to take over and you have to care. So let me know what you think is going to happen. And I hope that this doesn't end in the mass exodus of a lot of people. I hope a lot of people don't leave this planet because of the decisions this one man is making. But we know already that, more than enough have. So this just goes out to say, America, we're only 2 years away from having somebody else run this joint. You guys got to put your differences aside at some point and go look at who you elected to run this shit show. Do better. Find somebody else better. There's ever a time to unite. It's not because of gas prices. It's not because of red or blue. It's not because of any of that shit. It's because look at what's happening. Look at what's happening around you. And find somebody who you believe will stand up for what's right. Not stand up for what his policy is, or this policy is, or just stand up because you don't like the other camp. Find someone who's going to stand up and do the right thing for people and humanity, because at some point we have to look past just what's going on around your little bubble and look past what's going on in the world, because there is somebody growing up on the other side of this planet who is growing up in a way, an environment, in a physical, mental environment that is going to absolutely one day wreck part of the world, just like Putin's doing right now. That dude grew up and became that person. And if we look and focus on changing humanity and change the way we treat each other, maybe we can avoid having another Putin, another Hitler, another Kim Jong-un, another Al-Qaeda leader. Focus on changing the people around you, outside your country. Think outside your box. Pick a person who's good for humanity. Maybe we can avoid this. That's all I got on this one. If you made it to the end, I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.